Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today we are talking about Nosh Simple Kiosk franchise. Recently, I was contracted to make short form content and manage the social media of a company called Nosh Simple while they begin to franchise in the Texas market. And during the course of me working with Aaron Dew, the founder and CEO, as well as other people that I've worked with, have refused to pay me for the completed work that is currently in use on their social media platforms. They've displayed patterns I've seen in companies that I've worked with, but also through interviews and research I've done. And that's exactly why I'm making this video, so you understand what you're getting into before you invest your time and money into this business. So in this video, we are talking about everything you must know about Nosh Simple and their franchising opportunity, what they tell you versus how it actually is, and everything in between. But before we do that, let's go over a quick disclaimer. The content of this video does not contain and is never intended to be legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment, educational, and informational purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult with qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. I also want to be clear that I'm speaking from my own experiences on this one, and what my experience may be may not reflect yours, and what applies to me may not apply to you. So with that said, let's get started. My story. So in November or December of 2025, Aaron Dew reached out to me after seeing one of my shorts. They needed some organic social media marketing and management services and asked me to help. It made no sense to me, in my opinion, but I'll talk about that later. We talked for a bit and he told me a bit of his goals with the company, shared some information about himself, how his wife left him, and how he was going to church lately. Kind of an overshare, but I get trying to create a personal connection after a traumatic experience can lead to challenges reconnecting with people, and you kind of got to start somewhere. Early in the conversation, he emphasized his background, including Harvard Business School and his prior experience, which appeared to be positioned as a credibility signal. However, through our working relationship and the way he chose to handle his business obligations, that did not align with the level of professionalism those credentials would typically imply, and is really a poor reflection on Harvard Business School. If you're going to lead with credentials such as Harvard Business School, a school known for its prestige and reputation, people are going to expect a certain level of professionalism. And when that standard isn't met, the disconnect can become obvious. I gave them my prices. He explained to me how it seemed high to them and that managing social media isn't work to him and that he shouldn't have to pay for it, which directly conflicted with the agreed scope of work and industry standard for those services. I explained to him the difference and he chose not to understand, but eventually agreed to some of my prices. I thought that it was going to be a short contract. I will show him the difference between the two and we'll just move on. But that didn't go well at all. During the process of working with him, Aaron made it clear that he didn't understand how organic social media marketing worked and compared it to paid advertising multiple times. He asked me to work with Z, and he instructed me to make his contributions sound like they were not that hard on him and manipulate him to work outside of his work hours and during his vacation time. He tried to get me to make a logo for him for the franchise page for free, and after I sent him some rates, he tried to make it sound like he never asked. There were repeated contradictions between stated expectations and prior admissions about unfamiliarity with organic social media. Despite agreeing with contract terms, the conversation shifted when it came time to fulfill those obligations. When I followed up on payment, the response was not focused on resolving the issue. It was reframed as unprofessional behavior. And at that point, the situation moved away from a business decision into something more adversarial. At one point, he instructed others on the project to mark my emails as spam. Think about that for a second. Not resolve the invoice, not clarify the terms, but actively suppress communication about payment. And now I'm out $1,220 because Aaron Dew refused to pay me and has yet to fulfill his contractual obligations while the work was completed, delivered, and is currently in use on his platforms, despite the payment not being made. Under the agreement, the usage rights are contingent on payment, meaning that continued use without payment is unauthorized, which also means that this gives rise to claims including breach of contract, unauthorized use of intellectual property, misuse of my likeness, and reputational harm. Nosh Simple Kiosk. Their business model is very similar to a vending machine model. You can call up the business to see if it's okay to put your machine into their building. You get paid per meal sold, and that's just the overall gist of it. They have or had a delivery model as well, but that isn't part of the franchise. They also have a 30% waste on food in the kiosk, but they claim to be fixing it. That's a fundamental risk factor, because if a company won't fulfill a $1,220 obligation for completed work, it raises serious questions about how larger financial obligations are handled. Because remember, in order to enter a franchise, they expect you to pay $45,000 as a franchise fee and $5,000 per machine. That's not bad, and financing is available, but that also assumes that people aren't fulfilling their end of the agreement. Like, if they won't pay me $1,220 worth of work, what makes you think they will pay someone else for theirs? Who is going to accept the brunt of the customer service challenges? If they can't bring their own responsibilities towards themselves, what makes you think they will make it happen for you? My mistakes. To be honest, I saw a lot of potential in this business and had considered investing in them myself, and allowed for some things that I shouldn't have, and more appropriately, I made some mistakes that, looking back, were just rookie mistakes. Locking in the relationship. One of the mindsets that I had with this deal is the idea of locking in the relationship and lowering my own prices for a pilot program that I specifically designed for them. If you have to lower your prices for them, you should probably walk away. First off, they may not even be able to afford your services at all. And remember, freelancers are not free, even if they try to make it free. Credit cards. One of the questions that he had was if he could use a credit card. And while I did allow it and can just charge him myself, what is stopping him from conducting a chargeback? I think there's a point to where I have to work on retainer or something, because I can't accept this kind of abuse or set up a credit card authorization form. So when we have to make these kinds of transactions, I can actually accept them. Just because someone is willing to ignore contractual obligations and make themselves legally liable doesn't mean I will. Ignoring red flags. In an effort to just get the work done and get moving, I ended up ignoring some of the red flags that made me pretty uncomfortable working with them. If someone refers to you as a friend within a business relationship within the first few minutes of meeting them or knowing them, or within the first few meetings, really, that's a problem. If they try some scope creep within the first few weeks of knowing them, that's a red flag. It's okay to set boundaries, but don't let abusive people get you to work for free. If they immediately start penny pinching after signing the contract and expect you to work lower bit by bit and complaining about timing and being more high maintenance than your ex-lover, that's a huge red flag. Like, seriously, no shit his wife left him. There are more, but I want to make separate videos on this specifically in the future and help people accordingly. One fat frog. This raised concerns for me because I've seen similar patterns in other situations. Yes, you could talk about DoorDash and Uber Eats, and while that could be true to a certain degree, at least in most cases, they don't withhold pay. The company I wanted to highlight in this scenario is One Fat Frog. One Fat Frog chose to operate and stole a bunch of people's money and got sued multiple times until they eventually filed bankruptcy, making a bunch of people homeless in the process. We had an interview with Miko, the entrepreneur, that talked about them specifically and how devastated she was about it and had successfully sued them. Regardless, they played their stupid games, they won their stupid prizes, but there are people who ended up in huge financial devastation, and some of them are even homeless because of their actions. Some of them didn't even have a real opportunity to get a lawsuit together because they would have to go to Florida to file or find an attorney in Florida. How Nosh Simple solves their problems. Recently, I took a look at other ratings in preparation for a potential lawsuit that I might have to file against them. And one of the things I found out is how Aaron has been responding to criticisms on the vending machines that he has been working on. I have found out that I'm not the only person he threatens when he gets a little bit of negative feedback. A customer had left a bad review one time, and Aaron had threatened the business for leaving it and said there may be consequences for the location, which is just immature. And if that's how disputes are handled publicly, it raises serious concerns about leadership judgment, because how someone handles one problem is how they handle all of them. This isn't an isolated issue. When you see the same patterns show up across vendor disputes, customer interactions, internal communication, it stops being a one-off situation and starts becoming a pattern on how problems are handled in general. Also, as CEO, you are expected to provide guidance on your team and how best to move forward and how many decisions you have to make because of it. The guidance provided by Aaron seemed to rely heavily on generic AI-generated responses without meaningful review or refinement. Using AI to expedite processes and make things easier is fine, but you have to fine-tune it. Sometimes even challenge what they wrote to make sure the answers actually made sense. Which then begs the question, does Aaron have leadership capacity to really succeed long-term, or is this another business that is doomed to fail? Final thoughts. As a reminder, this review is based on my experience on working with Aaron Du. And while I do not have any desire to work with him to any capacity, I'm not telling anyone not to work with them. As I have said, I thought this was an interesting concept, and I can imagine multiple people feeling the same way. If it works out for you and it's worth $50,000, go for it. I just know I have seen many people financially devastated by people exactly like this. From One Fat Frog, from other dealerships, and I have had many first-hand experiences of this myself. But I would be genuinely careful about people like this, because if you plan on working with Aaron Du or Nosh Simple, please tread with caution. I always said if I saw a situation like the One Fat Frog incident happening before it happens, I would say something. And that's exactly what this video is intended to be. You do with that information with what you will. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, check out my website, drivenwild.com. If you'd like to learn more about some of the services and gig platforms we have talked about in the past and are offering to gig workers today. Once again, thank you so much for watching. And until next time.
Rise up, she off and on the front.